Welcome to the January workbook walkthrough. This is the first time I've ever done this. Usually I just give out the workbook and I'm like, every man for himself. But this year I thought, or this month, I thought I would walk you through it. And also, if you were here watching this, it doesn't matter if you're a member of Planner Pixies or not, you can have this for free. So just check the description below, download it, and print it out or put it on your tablet, grab your Apple Pencil, and then come back here and I will wait, go ahead, push pause, and then we can go through this together. It has a lot of examples of things that I was thinking for the workbook when I did it myself. So that way it can hopefully give you some light on why I even asked the questions I did and what I was thinking for my rationale and coming up with my answers. If you are a member of Planner Pixies, you actually got the Canva template for this so that you can edit this and use it as your own. So next month we'll probably, I really want to phase into using more AI prompts and using more Google Docs to just copy and paste and put stuff in there instead of like having a workbook you print out. So we'll just see how that works because I think I can still put like these nice visual images because I am a graphic designer. I think I'm the only, I shouldn't say only, I think I'm one of the only like planner designers that puts actual images and illustrations in their planners. Most people just put lines and colors and boxes. And I just never liked that. I needed more. I needed other distractions and something pretty going on. Anyways, I just said, every month I kind of try to put an analogy for the month. And I just feel like January is like your runway. You are in an airplane. Where are you going? Where do you want to be? And I think the airplane is the fastest way to get you from point A to point Z. And then I always like to say, who do these goals belong to? And I don't know, I know it's silly, but once you write your name on anything, you just feel good. You're like, I knew the answer to that. I know my name. Know how to spell it. So that's why that line is there. And then what's the one goal you must, like if there was anything, because I think all of us want to do a lot of different things, but what's one goal that would have made a difference? So if I think back to 2024, like what was the one thing I really wish I had done that would have made this year so much better? And it was maintaining the same, because I've been saying I keep gaining and losing the same 10 pounds. If I had just not regained it last year, that would have been like literally the hugest ever goal that I could have had. So same thing with this year, only because it took up so much brain space and it just made me feel bad. And then I wasted time like re-losing it and then, pulling out the fat clothes and then wishing I had the thin clothes. So all of that. And so that's why this year I always said, I am not going to try to lose extra. I'm just going to even Steven, stay where I am. So like even looking back to last year, that's what I would have done. I have directions in here how to print it in case you want to put it in a 3-ring binder. I always put a little note in every monthly plan with me workbook on just my thoughts and things for the day. I put in some quotes with AI art. I used to use Adobe stock. In fact, I don't even know if stock photos matter going forward. And I've noticed a lot of stock photo depositories is not the right word, inventory, those people that have those stock libraries, they are loading them up with AI photos. Which I don't know how I feel about that, but whatever. So December. So we go through the past month, just to talk about what went well. And I have a couple pointed questions, like to help you like jog your memory, like what went well. For me, it was giving up caffeine, giving up sugar. Those were still good for me. And I don't think you need something new every time, right? So this year I'm all about maintenance and I'm all about like, you don't have to come up with something new every month. In fact, doing so could detract and take away from your ability to maintain the ground that you've already covered. So things that didn't go quite as planned, I think Squarespace Anything, I didn't learn it. I didn't want to, and I didn't care. So but it was a great lesson learned because now I know I need to focus on things that light me up and make me happy. And so if you look at last month, I posted a ton of videos and that's because I love it. I enjoyed it. I didn't plan it. I didn't have to. I just couldn't wait to create and post new videos every day. So that was another thing. And then also because of this month, I realized that, I used to always be of the mindset that exercise could get rid of whatever I ate. You can just exercise it off. You can run it off. And you can't. Maybe sure if it's calorie for calorie, but really I think quality of what you're putting in matters. And I know I'm now 50 and it took me this long to try to embrace that. And I've never done that before. Like ever. Also, the power of like listening to myself. So doing that year-end audit was massively huge in just kind of knowing what was important to me and knowing like where I was excited to spend my time and energy versus just trying to do things that sounded fun, which, is never the right way to go ever. Also, just in general, don't be discouraged by anything that happened last year. And I think this happens a lot because I'm always trying to like set a new goal, set a new habit, set a new word of the month. And that makes it such that if you didn't accomplish everything within those 28, 29, or do any months have 20? I guess a leap year, 30 or 31 days, then it's almost like nothing happened. But again, I think maintaining, we don't give any credit at all, if any. It's just like expected that you should maintain whatever ground you've gotten. I mean, there are people that learn foreign languages. I know I've never learned a foreign language, but I've studied a lot. But even like my working basic knowledge of a few words has completely disappeared. I've taken French, Italian, Spanish, German, Japanese, Korean. None of it has stuck. And that's because I'm never consistent. So even if you say, okay, so I've taken 4 years of French, I still don't even remember. I don't even know how to ask you how to get up to the 4th floor, how to push up on the elevator, like little things like that I remember learning, but because I didn't do anything to maintain it, I couldn't even keep the ground that I had because I was so disappointed that I didn't become super fluent like in a month or a day or whatever it was. So now it is your turn. So at the top left, right, it says your turn to write down all of those 4 areas for yourself and also your biggest lesson learned. And then just another quote and AI art. Yes, I did put AI art in there. Okay, so strengths you'd like to amplify this month. So when you think about things that you are good at inherently, what I put in is that, I have to look, what am I good at? Video content. I can put it out there. Workbooks, planners. I love making these things. It's very fun. I do like making planners. I haven't really done it yet. So maybe I don't like making planners as much as I thought I did. And my super skill is really, I just look at anything and I just know like how I would make it better. And I think that's why I became a writer. I like reading books, love reading books. And every time I read one, I was like, oh, I wish they had done this or they could have done that. And it's not like which I guess I kind of am conscious like I'm critiquing it, but more so like as a reader and how I enjoy it, that's how I knew how to make it better. And same thing with the planners that I use and workbooks and video content. I can always just see things how I, as the end customer, would have wanted to improve those things and do it better. Now, that doesn't apply to everything. It's really kind of just limited to those areas for me. But for me, to amplify everything, I'm just going back to basics. I'm just going to go back to basics because, again, I think every month and every year, I'm just like, I need to do something new. I need to do something different. And that's not true. I can still just keep doing what I was doing. I don't have to move into other areas. So that's what I'm doing. So there's also these questions. What are some weaknesses you can outsource? Using the theory that maybe there are things that you should push out. I actually like doing everything. The only thing I'm outsourcing is ideation. So I love talking to AI. So I don't know what that says about me, but I've been using it for therapy. I've been using it just to bounce ideas off of for YouTube. Especially, it's been so helpful this last month. I don't have to sit around like being like, what title should I use? What kind of description? What are good YouTube? I can just look at the suggestions and be like, yes, I agree. No, I don't, which is the same thing that a VA would do anyway, but this actually does it better. So to me, that's really the only thing I'm outsourcing. And then for every year, I love music, truly, like just dancing to it, running to it, working out to it, like sitting and listening to it. So I just find music like very relaxing. And this is why I always talk. It's like crazy to me that people like listening to podcasts. And again, I say this because I grew up in the 80s and we did not have Sirius XM. And when you did a road trip, which we did every year for family vacations, we would just drive there. You get into dead zones where there is nothing to listen to. So you're so bored. And unless you brought a mixtape with you, which most of the time, I don't know, we thought about it, but nobody ever did it, then you end up listening to AM radio, which is just awful. It is boring. I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't even know. Maybe it's somebody sitting in their basement and just talking about random stuff, which I guess is kind of like what YouTube is now, right? But at least then you could choose and pick what you want on YouTube and ignore the other stuff. This, you're just kind of stuck with whatever channel comes into tune. So that's what I think of podcasts. Like, you can't pay me enough to listen to your boring podcast. There is no chance I will ever listen to a podcast. Video podcasts I will do, but only at like 3x speed. And even then I'm kind of like skipping through just because I feel like there's just so much more to be gained from music. And I'm not sure, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I'm pretty sure it's better for your brain than just listening to talking all the time. Anyways, what was my point? Oh, theme songs. I like theme songs for the year. And I got this idea from my favorite TV show from the 90s, which was Ally McBeal. And she had this therapist, it was a comedian that was on the show. And she was always like, Ally, you need a theme song. And so whenever she was kind of down or feeling depressed or unmotivated, she would like think of her theme song or play her theme song to like get herself going. So anyways, I don't know if the same can be said about a podcast, but again, to each their own. I really like the song Thunderstruck recently. And yes, I did watch that Netflix special. So maybe that's why, but Thunderstruck, and I put the meaning down here on what the rationale was that AC/DC had for creating that song, but I think it could apply to anything else, like ideas, goals that you're working on, something where you're just really infatuated and super excited and passionate about it. So if you think of it that way, it could work. The other song I really like is a song that's not even really a song. It's from this movie that is so old. I think it's like 12 years old. It was on ABC Family, and that channel doesn't even exist anymore. But it was, I think one of the lyrics was, I can be anything I want. It was just a cute, catchy, like dorky tune. Anyways, you can't listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it on YouTube if you just Google search Teen Spirit song and it's there. So those are my theme songs for the year. And this song has been there for a while. Thunderstruck is new. I would strongly encourage you to find a theme song. Or I guess if you really like podcasts, you can listen to a podcast. Again, I almost said the word boring, but I'm not judging. All right. So wish lists. So we always talk about wish lists. And, this year I said, let's not make wish lists. Let's make Six Sigma projects. But I still think you need to start with like a wish, like in general, and what areas of your life you want to work on. I do not like the wheel of life. I think it puts a lot of pressure on you to be perfect. Like when I see part of the wheel visually that's full and I see another part that's not full, I feel really bad about myself. Why is my whole circle not full? And so I have split it out in 2 boxes. And some of the boxes, as you can see, the bottom 2, love life and finances, I just put not applicable because I don't think it is, I know for me, I think it's like setting yourself up for failure again. Like the whole reason the wheel of circle is like overwhelming and I don't like it is because I don't think you can concentrate on every single aspect of your life all the time. And I was told forever that I needed balance, and it always upset me and like made me just really feel bad that I wasn't balanced, and that I like getting really engrossed into one project or one thing. So anyways, my health and fitness, as I said, maintaining just the caffeine and the processed sugar. That's all I'm going to focus on. Spiritual and emotional, I would like to start praying like as a nice ritual right before I go to bed. I forever was doing the gratitude journal just because I thought I had to. Everyone said you did, and I hated it. And then I'd feel bad that I didn't do it. Like, what kind of awful person am I? Am I not grateful? So I just find that doing a silent prayer to myself or to the cat can listen in, was much more fulfilling and gave me the same benefits as writing in a book. The other thing is learning. I would, instead of saying I'm going to learn something that sounds impressive, like that I'm not interested in, which is Squarespace and Shopify, and something I've been saying not only last year, the year before, and the third, like for 3 years now. Now that I've finally given that up, I'm going to learn things that I like, which is AI. I do like staying up to date with AI. I'm like subscribed to a bunch of newsletters. I like reading about it. I like testing new things out. So this is what I am going to do. And well, anyways, I put my whole rationale in there, but basically when ebooks, and I explained this before, when ebooks first came out, I was like team snob, where I was like, no one's going to read ebooks. Those are so stupid. And then now it's everybody reads ebooks. So I feel like AI is the same thing. So don't waste any time. I'm here to tell you it is totally useless to associate with anyone who's saying, oh, they're going to ruin the future. They're going to take over. They're stealing jobs. Just don't listen to it. It's just noise. Friends, not applicable. Not that I don't want friends. I mean, I just moved here and I just feel like I'm just settling in. And this is just too big of a goal for me. I don't not want friends. I don't feel like I need to. I also don't want to like work on friendships. Like, I know that, I don't know, maybe that sounds awful. I'm just not in a place right now where I kind of feel like I need to expand things, just the time and energy. So right now here in Orlando, I have a few friends. I have a friend from high school, 2 from college, and that's it. And so, but I'm okay with that. And I have my parents. So, and I have Lucky to hang out with. So, right now that's what I need for me. And it could be too, because I'm an only child. I get energized or reinvigorated just kind of like being with myself. So that's what I'm focusing on this year. Career and work. I really loved, so Roberto Blake, I think like 8 years ago, started this whole like membership for YouTubers called Create Something Awesome. And that's kind of like his philosophy. And I was like, it sounds kind of generic and hokey. Like, what does that even mean? But this year I have finally embraced it. Like, I just feel like, when I go to make something, whether it's a planner or a workbook or a YouTube video, I just want it to be kind of awesome, like something that's of service, something that's of help to people, something that brings you joy. So that is like my new philosophy now for career and work and everything else. Personal development, mostly just forgiving myself. And I know this sounds silly, but I just have this big, whenever you do something that you wish you hadn't, whether it's like taken a left instead of a right, or, taken one job over another if you had multiple offers, or, dump one guy for another, who knows, whatever it is, choose a career or major, you think to yourself, if only I had a time machine and I could go back, I could like fix all of this, right? And like everything would be perfect. And I have been spending a lot of time just fantasizing now that I'm here. Like, what if I had just never gone to San Diego 10 years ago? Like, my life would be perfect. Everything would be wonderful. And so I am just working on just accepting the fact that it is what it is. And I learned a lot of things and it's time to just move on and not wish that I could change it because I do spend a lot of time doing that. All right. This is Jack of all trades, master of none. Like I said, sure, there are some people who are Renaissance women, and everybody's brain is wired differently. So I totally acknowledge that could be you. I think most of us, though, are better off just sort of focusing on one area. So my biggest lesson learned was, like I said, balance and trying to do co-writing. And now that I've given that up, I feel so much better. So for me, that's the last me example, is what's one thing you'll master in 2025? And, I talked about Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. And so for me, it's more about quantity. So like last month when I posted all those videos on YouTube, so before I did that, earlier in the year, there was like a big period of time where there were no videos on my channel because I spent so much time strategizing and worrying like, will this video fit with what I want to do? Maybe I should just do a whole rebrand. Should I rename my company? Should I do something else? Should I move to another state or country? Like it was just crazy the amount of like spiraling of just silly strategies and overthinking that was going on. So instead, I'm just focusing on quantity this year. Doesn't matter. I think quality is something good to go for, but also highly overrated. So I think when people say done is better than perfect, I think it's because people are focusing too much on the quality and not on the quantity to get more things, content out there, more things just out into the world. And I feel the same way, especially about my writing. And so when I was saying, 25 books in 25, I don't really care if they're like great or perfect or the best plot ever, or it's going to be a New York Times bestseller. I just need to practice writing because I've already done all the practice of not writing and just thinking about writing. And I 100% am not wasting any more time on what's selling to market and what's going to be something profitable or trending. I'm just going to write what I want. And I do have writer friends who are always like trying to be helpful with trends. So this is the year of I don't care. I'm just about getting more quantity out there in every area. So now that I've done all that talking, now it's your turn to do all of those same things. So now I think this is it. Oh, and then there's just 2 pages for notes. And I think that's it. Oh, yes. So I did say to make a yes list and a no list. So things that like for sure are yeses that you're like, I'm super excited about, and things that are no that you just don't want to do. So my no was just me whining again about my example of like, so basically my no is just ruminating about the past at all. Like, how could I fix it? How could I wish I had a time machine to go back. I thought about last year, the things I liked and didn't like for the annual audit. And after that, I think I'm done. Like I'm done with it. I don't want to take up any more of my brain space. The other thing for yes, things that I am really excited about, like when I think about my day and planning out like things that I could do, I'm always excited about doing my runs on the treadmill, which is weird because I've always hated running. So that's new. And then walk and talks. Anytime I have a walk and talk with a friend, anytime I create YouTube videos, like I can't even tell you, like it was almost like I was giving myself permission to suck. And because I gave myself permission to suck, it was so much easier to make videos. Like I could not wait to wake up the next morning and start filming and editing, creating thumbnails and posting stuff out there. So that for me has been huge. And I think the same thing will happen with books, because right now I'm still kind of in that phase of like, oh, I don't want to make junk. I don't want to make something that looks awful. I'll be embarrassed if people read it and think, wow, she really sucks. So I think as soon as I kind of make that shift, I think I will also be excited to wake up and start writing as much as I was for YouTube videos. So I think that's almost the end now. Okay, 25 year at a glance. If you had the vision board, you could have done pictures. This is for text, but I did pictures for this year. And I did have text, but I made the text a big picture. 2025 calendar at a glance. I always say every month pick one declutter project. So if it was me, like right now what's decluttered is my bookmarks. I don't know about you, but because 2 things. 1, I kept thinking, oh, it's a Squarespace bookmark. I'm going to save it. And then Shopify bookmarks. Oh, I'm going to save it. And then other silly things that I don't care about anymore, which is like, book quality and like learning marketing and doing more writing courses. Those are gone. So I really need to clean up my bookmarks. So every time I go to the bookmarks page and I need something specific, I'm not like over inundated with things that don't matter anymore. Because it does make me start thinking then about things that I've already said no to. And my Gmail folders. I was trying to look for stuff the other day. I couldn't find. I have so many Gmail folders. I really need to clean that up. I have things from like 2012. Who cares? All right. Advisory board. I'm not doing the advisory board this year, but I do think it was valuable. I think you should try it. And the advisory board was more like people you admire. So like last year I had my friend Holly Pixels, who does drawing. It's kind of funny. Holly took down her whole YouTube channel. She had like 100,000 subscribers. She's like, anyways, I think people still keep subscribing even though she doesn't even post videos. It's kind of funny, but she was my like advisory board hero because she's so good at drawing. So I had put that up there, and how I was going to emulate her is I was going to practice drawing every day. Didn't actually happen for me. So I don't know why. In theory, it should have worked. Like, they always say don't be jealous, but it's almost like people you admire and look up to, like what would they be doing? And how would you like to emulate and get so you could get to where they are now? So anyways, I still think it's worth a try. It might work for you, even though it didn't work for me. Maybe I just picked the wrong people, or I picked the wrong goals. Again, just picking things that I wasn't truly interested in. That could be it too. Theme words. So I just threw a bunch of words in here. Go ahead, and I put some circles around words that I liked for this year. But like I liked innovative. I want to be known as someone who's organized, healthy, disciplined, and magical. So these were so the 2 new words for me were healthy and magical. Healthy only because I've always focused on being thin. Like, who cares how healthy I am if I'm thin, right? That's not important to me anymore. Being healthy is more important than being thin. The other thing is magical only because I'm such a realist and such a not believing in the impossible. There's no way to say it. I don't know. I just feel like giving myself that space where I could open the door to the possibility that something out there, magical, could happen is going to help with giving me more hope. So that's why I chose that word. So I said just put your top 5 words, kind of put a rationale for yourself on why, and then maybe those are your theme words, or you can pick one. So this is a place for you to put your word of the year, your mantra of the year, and some affirmations to help you get there. And I had put some examples too in the annual plan with me. So that is pretty much it. I guess I have more stuff. I keep writing more stuff. Write book 5 of my series. That is my January goal, is to write book 5 of my series. That's what's happening this month. This is my January. That's what's going on for the month. I am going to the AI Bot conference next week. I will let you know how that goes. And that's pretty much it for the next month. And then kind of your turn to focus on what you want to do. Oh, and I put the little llama thing in here because I do like llama. It like helps you. It's like just sits on your desktop. It helps you organize like a to-do list virtually if you like that. I still like paper, but you know, habit tracker. If you want to do a habit tracker, I don't know why I thought I was done already. Anyways, all of these things, the habits, the routine, the rewards. So like I already mentioned this, so I won't repeat this. This is my silent gratitude list each night. And then here's a place for you to track your habit if you like circling, like coloring things in. And then also thinking of like an incentive reward for yourself. I took out the cupcake just because I'm obviously not doing processed sugar. I used to always put right next to the incentive reward a cupcake, which was silly because it's not like I had restricted myself from the cupcake and then had it at the end of the month. I had the cupcake every single day. So I guess an incentive reward would have been like 2 cupcakes or 3. So time tracker for productivity if you want to do that, and favorite projects to work on in 2025. You want to make a list of those. And now I think we're almost done. Yes, now we are actually done. So this is the whole workbook. Lots of pages for you to fill out and help you to plan and focus your month and your year. And I will see everyone later. Bye.